My computer's slow, so we're waiting. It says preparing to live stream the webinar.
It looks like that we're live streaming.
It's on.
Yep. All right, we're ready to roll. So let's get this party started. All right, it's the ONPASSIVE Milo show. Passive Milo show is here today. You don't want to miss a single word they say. Bringing you founders from the near and far. Listen as they tell you now just who they are. Listen to their stories and how they tell. In just 3 minutes how they're doing well. Telling us what it's all about today. And how they're loving it on passive, way on passive. It's a here to stay on passive. There's just no better way. Listen to the ONPASSIVE Milo show. So then you can be the very person. No ONPASSIVE. It's a here to stay. Passive Milo show is coming your way Saturday on Passive. Oh yeah. Milo, take it away. Here's Milo. Hey, how you guys doing? It's so good to have you on the show. I want you to know that if you was not on the show, we would not have a show. Every one of you is important to ONPASSIVE. And if you are a founder, I'm telling you, you are in a place that you just want to be, because it's going to be awesome where we're going. And me and Marty, if you heard us a little before the show, we was all getting excited, man, and I just can't help myself, and I know everyone else can't. And we were talking about, it was funny that he brought that up, because I had just thought about, in a couple weeks, I'm thinking I want to have a show where I just bring on a guest or whatever, but then we go into, hey, you tell me what you want to do, what your passion is, where you want to go, and let's talk about it. Because, being in it so long, I'm almost 4 years now in it. There's so many things I've heard, so many things that I can do, and tell people, and we all can. And when we do it as a group, it is such a good thing. And today, well, first, let me say, welcome to the co-host, Miss Lynn Nakamoto. Come on down, Lynn, say something to us.
Hi, everybody. Glad you're all here. We're in for a very, very good show.
All right, Marty, are you still on? Marty's so busy, but I don't think he's still here. But okay, let's go to John Barilla. Come on down. John takes care of the back end on the chat and stuff.
Hi. Can you hear me all right now, Milo?
Can hear you good, man. You sound like your old self, brother.
Well, I don't have much to say except that we all want to subscribe to Milo's YouTube channel. I would suggest we all think about doing that. I'm going to be posting, and so are some other folks, every once in a while in the chat for Milo's YouTube channel. We want everybody to subscribe now. Come on. That's all I got.
John, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Sometimes I forget to even tell people I've got ONPASSIVE Milo now. And let me know, what are you wanting to see? My plans is I'm gonna put the shows in there. I'm gonna have the leaders when we talk to them and stuff. I also want to post some of my singing, if you like that, and have some different things in there. So let me know if there's something you would like. But we do plan on, we had that thing where me and Jeffrey did all the presentations of all the products. That's a good thing. So we'll have different playlists in there. I'm trying to build it up. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how Lynn Nakamoto goes all the time like she does. And she does a tremendous job seems like she's on every webinar there is. I was on one earlier this morning. I was on a interview with, oh man, what was her name? Gapna or something like that. She's from India.
Sapna Gupta.
Who is it?
Sapna Gupta.
No, that's not the one. It's a girl. She's new. She's only been around 3.5 months. She's doing good things. She's got a lot of interviews. I think it's Gapna or something like that. But anyway, it'll be coming out. I'll have that on my channel. It was a good interview. But we have a special guest here today. Oh my God. And this lady, I just love her, man. I love what she says. I love how she talks. And she has such a calming voice. And she's been on podcasts for, I think, years, helping people out. And she has this calming thing about her that she talks, and just such a beautiful spirit. And that's none other than Miss Willow Griffith. Willow, come down and just say a few words before we get into the show.
I am so honored, Milo. I can't tell you in words. I'm just, you were the first one that talked to me. We would go into webinars and we were unseen territory. And you and Julie's show put a lot of us on the map where we had never really, been out there. And oh my God, it's good to be home here. I love you and I love your show. So don't ever change. Keep doing what you're doing.
Awesome. We just keep bringing people here, and it's all about us all talking, because remember, there's no big I's and little U's in ONPASSIVE. We are one family.
Beautiful.
And we're just waiting for that next diamond to come out, and come forward. We've seen so many of them, and I love watching, and I watch people evolve, and it just makes me so happy. I want to see everybody in the world succeed. So anyway, so like I said, so happy all of you were here. If you was not on the show, we wouldn't even have a show. So we thank you for that. Now, I would like to just take a couple minutes and do a silent prayer for a couple people. As you know, Leanne Bonnet passed away, I believe, on Sunday. I think it was a shock to the community. She was a very nice woman. I talked to her several times. She's just a great person. We also have Robin Noble's mother passed away, I think a week ago or so, maybe 2 weeks. But let's just take 1 minute here, and let me get my clock going. And we'll take 1 minute of silence just so that we can, honor them. All right, here we go. Let me get it set. Timer. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Leanne's family and Robin, your mother, I'm sure they're looking down from above, and they're watching ONPASSIVE and where we're at and where we're going. Appreciate all of you being here. All righty, let's move on. So let's go now to the special guest of the show. I'm excited to bring to you Miss Willow Griffith from West Virginia. Come on down, Willow, and talk to us. You got lots of time now. Take 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, wow. I don't know how to act. I'm probably not out of words. I was saying a little bit ago how wonderful it is to see all the familiar faces where we started.
Hold on just a minute, Willow. Lynn, we got some background noise. I'm not sure where it's coming from.
I just muted.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Willow. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Hey, don't worry. I was just really delighted to see all the faces that we started with 3.5, 4 years ago, and they're all here, and I'm so pleased. I am I know that we've touched, everybody that knows me knows that I work, I'm a spiritual counselor, and I've worked for years on Blog Talk Radio and other podcasts, where I have dealt with people behind the scenes more than one-on-one, in front of the camera. And so Marty said to me, just do it, and Milo says, get out there, and so finally Milo and Julie interviewed me, and then they turned on something they wish they could have shut up, I think, a few times. But I am a defender of women, battered women specifically, and I have been working with a group just this month where we are looking into ways that we can get women out of crisis centers working and into homes where they do not have to stay in the crisis centers to be safe. And so a lot of times people don't understand that you can't put your name out there because on the internet, because you might be killed if you do, And so today, 3 law enforcement women joined our group to talk to me. And it was so enlightening, the things we can do to keep our names off, even our mortgages, things like that put your name out there where you can be traced easily. So this is a whole new ball game for me. I knew a lot of it because I've been in law enforcement, for a long time, but I never applied it to the women that were in danger. And I've never taught them how to do it, and because I didn't know. And so now, using ONPASSIVE, they can educate their children. They can educate themselves, because 90% of the women that I talk to have not been allowed to have an education. And so they're taught to work in the home and they don't go out. And so they don't know how to feed their families. They don't know how to work. They don't know how to write checks. They don't know how to manage their finances. So with ONPASSIVE, it's like God has just went, yeah, I'm fixing this for you, ladies. This is how it's going to be. Because they can use O Academy, O Connect. And like, I also know a lot of cottage industries, like soap makers, people that do crafts. They're the backbone of the United States, cottage industries are. And people don't realize how important they are. Like the women on YouTube, for example. You would be really surprised if you found out some of those tarot readers have a PhD. And they're moonlighting so they can support their kids, because they don't earn enough out there in the real world, And so there are many, many cottage industries growing big time now because of COVID, because of our economy. Everything is going kind of underground again. And so ONPASSIVE is the answer for all of it. All of it. I couldn't believe myself when I was talking to a woman the other day on her show that she has on YouTube. And she says, I have problems getting my information out to my subscribers. And I said, oh, I got the answer for you. I was jumping up and down. I was so excited. I said, you've got to join ONPASSIVE and get O-mail, because you can send out unlimited email. And she says, well, I've heard of that, but, I didn't know too much about it. And I said, we're all over the place. You got to start looking. And she was so interested because she has 4.7 million subscribers.
Wow.
Million, that's million. And she does shows, and she has programs that she takes to Arizona, and she has to send out information to all her subscribers every day practically. And so ONPASSIVE is going to be a godsend for her to manage the crew that she takes, the people that work for her when she goes on the road. And it is just amazing. She's a psychic medium that makes more money on YouTube than I did when I was working for the United States government. So there's industries out there, and there are women. 90% of them are women-run industries. The soap makers of the world are absolutely fantastic ladies. They have small farms. They have little communities they live in. They have no way to distribute their product. They produce marvelous things for our skin and our body. And I know I had a shop for 4 years on the internet, and we were creating hydrosols and beautiful things, but we couldn't keep up with the demand because we couldn't hire more people. And keeping track of the supplies and all of that, well, we're going to have all of that at our fingertips now. We're not going to have to go out and hire 15 people to do it for us. It's going to be managed at home in our own kitchen still. I started making soap in my own kitchen. I sold my soap for $25 a bar. That was that good. And it still is. And I use it to this day on my skin. So people just get ready for an explosion. When I was in the webinar, I thought Milo looked so handsome in his tie, and his demeanor was wonderful. I was more proud of you, Milo, than anybody. I couldn't get past looking at you, honey. I thought you were beautiful. But anyway, when we were in the webinar, and I had just been hearing about a lot of the women that I was talking about with the law enforcement people, what they were doing to try to get them into safe environments, and how everybody wants to build tiny homes. They want to build communities of their own that support people, and my son, that's his passion. That's exactly what he wants to do. And it's not necessarily the homeless. It is the displaced people of the world, like the battered women. It's people coming in. I found a friend that lost her entire family in the Kentucky floods. Every child, she had 3 children, her husband, her mother, she lost in the Kentucky floods in one night. And so she not only has no place to live, she has no possessions, and she has no family. That's what I mean by there are displaced people in the world that, oh, bless, is going to be able to, I was so praying that Ash would release Oh Bless first, so we could go out and use it, because the floods in across the United States have been severe this time, and they're getting worse. And there's so many displaced people that have no place to go. And that includes the people in California that lost their possessions and everything they owned in the fires. So we can do so much with Oh Bless, Oh Connect, Oh Academy. And I'm right up to my neck in finding ways how to do it. I know that we're going to do it, but I'm kind of scattered where I'm kind of spreading everything everywhere. And I think that we have to join hands together, like Milo says. Like our big brother Marty tells us, let's lock arms here. And our sweet Chris is out there drumming and beating the drum for Oh Bless, and he's doing a great job of it. I want to tell you that I know as a small business owner, the things that I needed were keeping track of our supplies, when they were going to run out and when they weren't, and all of those little details that you don't think you need to know, but you need to know them all. You need to know your suppliers. You need to know when they raise your prices so you can stay compatible, or you have to look for another supplier. And the software that ONPASSIVE has will handle that like a piece of cake. It'll be 1, 2, 3, and you'll manage your business at home without having to even hire an HR person. Like, I had a little soap maker tell me day before yesterday, and she's on YouTube, been on YouTube for 4 or 5 years. I don't know how long. But anyway, she said her biggest expense was keeping track of product and keeping on top of the stream of, especially now during inflation, she's had to cut back so much with her old suppliers because she can't afford to buy from them anymore. And that's why my son and I stopped the soap making and hydrosol making, because we couldn't afford the supplies. And so there are many women out there that are just waiting. And I'm going to do some shows on YouTube to bring them in, if I can, one-on-one, to like, kind of like Milo was talking about, and tell me what they need from ONPASSIVE, what they're looking for their businesses, how we could help. And I'm going to try to do my best to explain all of the products we have. It's not just one. And plus, how many times have you started small businesses to help your kids, like school's coming up and you're making crafts like Marty's beautiful wife does, and you need a place to sell them, and you have no idea that the IRS might be looking at you when you have additional income coming in. You need those kind of reminders that now that all eyes are on us. Like Ash said, the United States government was there when he was talking to us. They're everywhere. And so it used to be we could go to a flea market and we could get by without paying taxes, but not anymore. And some of the girls on YouTube are drowning in taxes, and they don't know how to use like Bless to defer some of those taxes. Because when we donate, there's a certain amount of money you can take off the taxes for every donation you make. And so when you do that, you're doing two good things in God's name. You're taking care of your kids, but you're taking care of somebody else's kids too. So we've got so many opportunities with Bless. Even the little products like Tracker. The law enforcement people that I talked to today were 3 women that work in 3 different states of the United States that are joining together to find a way to help displaced, battered women. And they were so enthused over ONPASSIVE products, because all of them are very adept at the computer. They have to be because of their jobs. But we're going to have people knocking on our doors from every walk of life, every place you turn. And so when I say cottage industries, that's my love. I like the farmers, and that's another love that I have. And about 3 weeks ago, there was a guy on that mentioned he was a farmer, and what could ONPASSIVE do for the farmers? Oh my God, I was jumping up and raising my hands. And I could tell you. I was so excited, because with farming and planting, Christina Dodds would know. She's a gardener. We have deadlines to meet. We have products to manage, especially when we are organic farmers like I am and most of the people that I love and know. It is a whole entire industry. Like we want to plant hemp plants next year, and growing hemp involves a lab, equipment to analyze your starter plants. It involves timing, all of the things that you have in every other business. And the farmers are going to go crazy over ONPASSIVE. Trust me when I tell you. Milo, have I gone over my time?
I said between 15 and 20 minutes. You're only at 16 minutes, so you got some more time if you want.
Got a little bit. Well, I was really excited about the farming communities, so I wanted to elaborate a little bit more about that. Hemp farming is a multi-billion-dollar business. I'm not talking about pot farming, I'm talking about hemp farming. And the products that we want to create are high on the list of needs, like hempcrete, hemp bricks, to build houses. People don't understand that when you build a house with hemp, it is mildew-proof, moth-proof, waterproof, fireproof. There are so many pluses to hemp that we haven't even begun to understand it. So I am looking for farmers that want to do from the beginning of the process all the way through to the refining of the product. So that's a whole industry there that ONPASSIVE can cover. And they're going to be coming in droves. And need I say a little bit? I don't know if this is allowed or not, but I'm going to say it anyway, Milo. One of the things that my friend that grows pot in California told me, he said, and in Colorado, he says, we need a bank. I didn't know this. You can't take profits from growing marijuana and put them in a regular bank. It's not allowed. They won't let you. And so I thought, oh boy, that's another a big stream in goes somebody, because he's really wealthy. This man's really wealthy because of growing pot. Not that don't get me wrong, this old lady's not trying to tell you to become a pot smoker, but I'm just saying there's so many different ways that we can utilize what Ashma Farah has given us, and I'm using that word, given us, through his generosity. He hasn't just created a little hoo-ha. He's created a big hoo-ha that we can't even define yet. And we owe him respect, if nothing else. So I was very disappointed with some of the people this week that violated what he specifically asked us not to do. And so Marty has been on his soapbox today in his life. I love him. And he's totally right. I don't go around looking for people that do bad things. I'm not going to do that. But I'll tell you, those of you who are cognizant about the danger that Ash is facing, and when he tells us don't do that, usually behind that statement, it's because there's a big danger they can sabotage him without us even knowing it. There's a lot of slick guys out there that have no good on their minds. So let's not become, one of those. One other thing I want to tell you, I'm going to be doing my lives 3 times a week, hopefully at 10 o'clock at night, from 10 to 12, so I don't interfere with dear Lynn's program, and we can take up that late night space totally. And I'm hoping each of you will contact me, because like Lynn and Marty, I have Restream, and I can have guests on my lives. I think they have what is it? SteamYard, is that the one you guys had? It's exactly like Restream. It's just not anything different than that. But I can have you on as guest, and I want to do that. And especially you, Milo. I come on your show, you come on mine, and you tell me your heart's desire.
I'm ready.
Well, yeah, for 2 hours. All right. Thank you, lovies, for being here. And thank you for coming. I can't express.
Thank you so much, Willow. Thank you. It was amazing what you just said. I loved it. I love your heart. I love your passion. But you know what was really, it really caught my attention there was, uh-oh, what happened here? Oh, did everyone go? Oh.
No, I don't know.
Oh, there we go.
We're seeing somebody's screen.
Yeah, who's got their, Hira Lau, please, Lynn, can you delete or can you make them go away?
Yeah. I just had to share. It stops them sharing when I share. So I'll go ahead and disable screen sharing right now.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate Lynn. Lynn keeps us all going. And going good. All right. So now let me get back to my thought. My thought was, Willow, you know my background. Okay. So I come up through the building industry. So one thing that's very important to me when I retired from building, I thought there was a couple things. One was fire retardant building products. Now I know that, you know, there used to be some things we could spray onto a 2x4 and onto wood. It would make it fire retardant, but it was so expensive it wasn't worth it, right?
And it was also damaging to your body, even if it was in ground for years. You know, we used to buy treated lumber,
right,
and it can destroy your lungs.
Right. So then I got real intrigued in 2013. I remember saying to a guy on a plane, I said, there's 3 things I think that will change the world. Number 1 was some kind of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or whatever. And number 2 was a 3D printing. I thought 3D printing was going to be the
yes.
And the third one was drones, because I figured drones are going to be flying around. They're going to be, you know, and this guy talked to me. Well, just so happened that he happened to be into drones. And at the time, if you remember 2013, everyone was thinking, you know, drones are these things that, you know, they're going to take away our privacy. They're going to be flying over. They're going to be flying around windows and looking in and stuff like that. And, you know, the truth of it is they could be, but the benefit of what they bring, you know, is bigger than the benefit of if it gets in the wrong hands. Hopefully, you know, we can eliminate that. But he laughed and he told me, he says, you know what? He says, you know what I do? He says, I'm with the U.S. government. He says, I was just in Shreveport. He says, I was working on the drone program. He says, we've had drones around for years that could spot a nickel on the ground, take a picture of it. He said, but do we want to follow everyone? No, we don't. You know, now some people might think, well, that's not true. They do. But, you know, wherever you are on it, it doesn't matter. I think drones have a place. But 3D printing was always a big thing to me. And my thought was they were going to print a 2x4 that you could build with. They were going to print plywood that you could build with, stuff like that. I didn't realize that they would set up this 3D printer on a lot and print a whole house in 72 hours. That's what they're doing now. Now let's go forward to last night. Do you know what was in Nashville? The biggest hemp show around. And I talked with, I don't know, 4 or 5 people, and they were so interesting. I talked to one guy that seemed very knowledgeable on the high end of it. He says, because I brought up 3D printing, I said, we're going to change the world. And that's what they were saying. We're going to change the world. I said, man, let's get together. Let's all change this world, you know, because there's things wrong with the world that we can't count on, you know, who we've elected and officials and stuff like that. If we have no control over it, we have no control over it. Let's just forget it. Let's move on. Let's do what we can do. Okay, so I said, are you familiar with 3D printing? He goes, I am. He says, in fact, he says, we are trying to come up with a hemp product that they can put in 3D printers. They're having problems right now with something of them not, it's sticking or something. But he says they actually have a 3D product that they can build a house. They can put it in a 3D printer. They can print out a house. And do you know, like you said, it's fire retardant, it's moisture resistant, there's no mold, and not only that, there's something that they put in it that house will stay at 67 degrees winter and summer. It was amazing. He starts talking to me about all this. I said, man, I hope you bring it on, because can you imagine the hemp brings that on? We bring the small communities or even the houses on, but we'll be able to build houses for people, that are displaced, that have, maybe they made a wrong decision in life. We all have made decisions in life but it shouldn't mean that you cannot get through it. Okay, let's give them a new start. Let's find out. I think, when Ash said 3 years ago, I think it was, he said, I might not be able to change the world, but I can change somebody's world. Let that sink in. I might not be able to change the world, but I can change somebody's world. Guess what? He changed my world.
You did. Me too.
He changed your world. Whether you were changed through someone coming at you, I was changed, maybe not right from Ash. It was Ash to Ken Russo to Candace, then to Milo, But if that line wouldn't have been there, I would have never known about ONPASSIVE. I would have never known about all these things. And I can tell you, even though I was, I thought I was good guy and on the right end, I'll tell you, there's some things that I didn't know that Ash has taught me that, I feel like that I'm a much better person. That $97 was such an incredible thing that I got taught, that I've been natured in, and, it has changed the world for me. Now, what am I doing? I look out there, I see Amy Radecki. Amy Radecki probably would not be there if it wasn't for Milo coming and telling her about it. You see, we all have a part in this, every one of us. So each of us brings someone in. We can change the world. We can change somebody's world, but when we all change somebody's world, we are going to change the world. And I'm a firm believer in that. And, with what Ash said this weekend, or, the last meeting, just blew my mind, but thank you, Willow, for coming down. I love your heart. I love what you're doing for, battered women and the things you got. I want to be part of your team. When you get ready to go, I'm sure there's going to be someone there that needs a spot. I want to work with people who are working in it, because the truth of it is there's not one of us that know everything or that help on everything. And not that if we even care to, we've got our own passions, but let's help others with their passion. In other words,
Marty, I wanted to add about the hemp. Just one little thing. I couldn't go out there in my tractor. I could try and do the work. The kind of jobs that we are going to create because of ONPASSIVE is going to be phenomenal. And when you said, I want to work, I want to do this too, I have got to conserve my strength. And I know many people, I don't know how Lynn does it. I think that she must have a scooter somewhere and she can zip from one place to another. But I have, conserved my strength. But what is really good about this is that we can bring everybody else in that's interested, Milo. Everybody. We can have innovation labs the world over. Say, okay, we want to grow hemp. Let's get everybody we know that wants to grow hemp, and let's have a meeting next weekend and figure out how to start. There's things that we can do with ONPASSIVE. I just had to sneak that in. You may see me out there plowing, but I can't plow. You know how it is when you get old. I can do everything I did when I was young, but much slower. So I love you. That's Milo. Those are beautiful ideas.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. And you know, they were telling me things about hemp that I didn't know. I had no idea that, you know, hemp can also be used for building products. It can also be used for in the medical industry. You know, it can be used in the gas industry, making some kind of fuels and stuff like that. There is so much that it's a renewable resource. Now, why have we not been using that? Why have we not? Is it because that maybe the guys that are up there, you know, decided that,
You got it.
you know, if we use this, it takes away from what we can do.
It's all about producing gas and oil. That's it. When it was shut down, Milo, I've been researching hemp for 25 years. And when they wouldn't let us grow it, we had to get special rules to grow a hemp plant. Hemp is not pot, you know, and I wanted to create my own hemp patch because I make soap out of hemp. Oh no, my God, it took an oath of Congress to get a little patch that you could grow. My mother threw the seeds out and they grew in the yard and they come after her like she was growing pot. I'm telling you, she didn't know what they were. She just used to throw them out, they grow. But I'm telling you, it is all political. And once they lifted that restrictions, the people in Kentucky started cheering because their livelihood comes from tobacco. That was the worst thing in the world for everybody. And they wouldn't let them grow hemp because it interfered with tobacco growing. So we are going to see some of those rules changed, Milo. There's enough of us that are saying, Congress, we're not going to deal with that anymore. And so that's why. Don't kid yourself. I'm not supposed to get political here, but oh God, how can you help it?
Yeah, I hear you. But anyway, great talking, great ideas you had. I love them. Anybody got any questions for Willow? We're looking for hands to be raised. If you want to talk, we will let you talk. If you don't, I guarantee that I'll probably talk and Willow will talk. And if Marty's here,
I see Jeffrey Morlock's hands up. I don't know if anybody else is.
All right, Jeffrey, come on down. What do you got to say about Willow? Save the other stuff for later.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I raised my hand. I love what you guys are talking about here. Willow, you are spot on. And let me adjust this so you guys can see. I'm going to have to change that background in just a second, but I just wanted to let you know how spot on you are in that a month before I actually joined ONPASSIVE in 2018, I wrote a little book that was called Liquid Gold, A History of Hemp and the Emergence of CBD. And you are absolutely right. It was criminalized, hemp was, right? And I mean, it's absolutely incredibly versatile. It's sustainable. It played a major role, believe it or not, in the building of our nation.
Exactly.
And that was long before the cultivation of it in the U.S. Was criminalized. I mean, it was made for foodstuffs and oils and fibrous products and building and
and everything. All of those industries, Jeffrey, played a part in keeping hemp prohibitive. Especially the expression, the twine and the rope industry. They didn't want that their little monopoly messed with. And I didn't mean to interrupt you, dear, but I couldn't believe when I read about the rope industry. I thought, rope? You know, who cares? But yeah, they had a great influence with Congress. They had a lot of money. And they wouldn't allow it. And that was in the 70s, Jeffrey, when they started once again right after you wrote your book, once again, they tried to get it on the market and it was stopped and you couldn't go any further. And then they opened it up in the colleges, and would you believe the experimental things that what you had to do to just grow a little plot of it was unbelievable, ridiculous. You had to put a fence up. You couldn't have any guns on your property. Farmers have guns because we got critters. We have critters. I got up one evening in my office, looked out and had a big black bear tapping on my window in my back office, and she comes down once a year to visit. So we have guns, yes, but it's not guns that are any problem to him. Good Lord, So anyway, Jeffrey, please continue on. I had to jump in there because I remember you were talking before you told me about writing that book. And I got two things that are published in medical journals about hemp and how they help your system. But I don't have a book yet, but I'm going to write one. And you'll help me, won't you?
All right, go ahead, Jeffrey. Back to Jeffrey. Go ahead, Jeff.
I think he's.
I had to get back to that screen. That's all. No, that's all I was going to say is spot on. You're absolutely right. Milo, I just sent you a PDF copy of that book. It's on Amazon, but I just sent that PDF copy to you via email. You give it to anybody you want to.
All right. I appreciate it. Anybody want it, get with us. I'll tell you what, I'll send it over to Lynn, or if you can send it to Lynn, that would be great because I'm very bad at multitasking. And so Lynn can get it to whoever wants it, and I'll read it a little bit later. All right. Let's see. Do we have any other hands up? Yes, we do. Nagma, come on down. That was the name I was trying to think of. Nagma ONPASSIVE Dunya from India. She is the one that did the interview with me today. Come on down, Nagma.
Hello, everyone. Myself, Nagma Tabassum, and I'm from India. As Milo said, ONPASSIVE Dunya is my YouTube channel. And it was awesome to hear you all, especially Willow Griffith ma'am shared an amazing views. She has said a line which attracted me a lot is ONPASSIVE is the answer of all the questions. It was amazing to hear this line. And now I just want to share my feelings that today I have conducted an interview with Milo sir, and that was amazing to be with him. He's a person with a great humor, and I just enjoyed and learned a lot from him. And as he said about my YouTube channel, I have been in ONPASSIVE since 2020, but I started my channel before 3.5 months ago. And Alhamdulillah, now I have a good count of subscribers on my channel. I'm just trying to provide the real knowledge about the ONPASSIVE to the viewers through my channel. That's why I started a series of interviews with national and international leaders. So today, I was with Milo, and I just want to thank him for giving me his precious time. And thanks to all of you for giving me an opportunity to share my views. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you, Nagma. And there is a lot of people on this show right here that would be great for your show also. So take a look at some of these people. They're all great, man. All right, and next up we have Dr. Benny. Come on down, Dr. Benny, and talk to us.
Thank you so much, Brother Milo, for giving me this opportunity. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to my brothers and sisters on this amazing webinar in different parts of the globe. Outstanding presentation, Sister William. Thank you so much for coming. Yes, I love you. You said something that it makes me so what should I say? I'm so touched that you're working with battered women, correct? So, what is the most stressful part about working with these battered women? If you don't mind, please.
Well, I have worked with women in crises for 45 years. And women are not in crises because they choose to be. They grow up in crises. They're taught to be subservient in the home. They're not allowed to make choices of their own. So when they marry someone that is a batterer, they don't know how to get out. They don't even know how to write a check. They don't know how to feed their kids. All they've done is work for the family. Usually the father is violent or has been violent of some sort. And they don't think they stand a chance in the world. They have no education. So when I told this one girl that has been for 6 months in a crisis center in another state, that ONPASSIVE could give her an income at home. And she says, oh, I heard all that before. No, it doesn't work. And I said, this works. Trust me. I'll purchase it for you. You get started, and then we'll move you out into a safe place, you know. And so most of the women don't think they stand a chance. So they go back to their batterer because they have such low self-esteem that they don't know how to get out. So I get so mad when I hear one of the uptown girls, I call them, come up to me and say, well, why in the hell don't they just get out? What are they going to do? Put 3 kids on their backs without any clothes and shoes? Walk down that road, they'll get about a mile before he catches you. You know, 3 days ago, a young woman, she was 45 years old. She had 2 children. She called the police for help. 48 hours later, they got to her door, and she was dead. She was beaten to death with a lead pipe in front of her children. There was no big news story about it because it was in a state where women's rights don't mean diddly squat. So when you ask me, Benny, darling, what's the biggest problem? Is there's no place for them to go. That's when I met Ash, and I said, oh my God, he's leveling the playing field here. He's helping people he doesn't even know he's going to help. He's helping people that have no education. He knows that. But I mean, they're kept from having an education, Benny. They're kept from having an education. Their fathers don't send the girls to school. The only ones that might get an education are the boys. And that happens in my state where I live. I see it every day of my life. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you. One more question, please, if it is okay. What is the interview process like at the Bata with Women's Shelter? Is there an interview process?
Oh, sure. They have to be in dire need before they're accepted, for one thing. It's not just because they get beat up once. Usually there's a waiting list to get into the crisis center. And there are many crisis centers across the United States that are filled to capacity, and there's no one else that can come in. And they can't kick them out on the streets because they're in danger of losing their lives. So that's what I was talking about. There's things going on here that we don't talk about because we're afraid to talk about them. We're afraid to talk that our sisters are being battered and we're doing nothing to help them. Now, I'm not saying all of you are not doing nothing. Don't misunderstand me. I'm very passionate about this. And on passive, I got down on my knees the first time I met Ash Mafara. And I started to pray and ask for answers. And I kept saying, just let me know, is he the one we've been waiting for? Is he the one? And I never got such a resounding yes from any of the other times I've asked my angels to intervene for me. It was overwhelming. And one of the things they said to me that night was, he'll lift the hungry, he'll lift the homeless, he'll lift up my children that have no voice. And that's what he's done. He's never deterred from it. So when people say, I'm going to quit, I say, bye. I'm sorry. Bye. Because I got plans for ONPASSIVE. I'm sticking it out. And I told God, you cannot take me until after I see this really work. And so I had a heart attack about 2.5 months ago. And I thought, oh my God, I got all the way through. No, you can't have me. You can't have me yet, you know. I got things to do. So I want you to have that kind of feeling too. When people come up to you and they say, why are you in ONPASSIVE? Say, have you got a couple of hours? I'll tell you. Thank you, Dr. Benny.
Thank you, Sister Willow, for the answer, and thank you for helping them. I appreciate you.
You're muted, Milo, if you're trying to talk.
Oh, I was. I'm sorry. All right, we're gonna change the order. I can see Dave Angelic's hand is up. Dave, go ahead with your question, and then we're gonna move on to another topic. Go ahead, Dave.
Thank you, Milo, my friend, and hello to everybody today. I have been researching hemp for a number of years, and it's just amazing what it does in the form of CBD to help the body. But my question for Willow or for Jeffrey is was not the U.S. Constitution written on hemp paper?
It looks like that's a resounding yes. Neither one of them's unmuted, but it looks like they're shaking their head yes.
I believe that hemp played a great deal of interesting things in our history, and yeah, I believe that was one of them. It's interesting you'd bring that up. It
was. You know, one other thing that a lot of people didn't know, that hemp products, you know, during the war, you know, were invaluable. They washed with hemp soap. They had articles of clothing made and sewn by hemp. Hemp was, like I said, it was a political thing that happened. It was too much of a threat to too many industries, is what it was, Dave. But yes, it was hemp paper. I have made hemp paper.
All right.
Hemp paper.
That answer your question there, Dave.
Yeah, it sure did. And, you know, just one other little interesting note that I've found out, particularly with CBD, is that I have a friend who's a psychiatrist, and he was down at the American Psychiatrists Association meeting, and they are looking very, very heavily into increasing the use of CBD to help people with mental illness.
Absolutely. There's such a great need for, you know, for it. And I mean, I haven't researched it a lot, but everything I hear about it I think is good. Well, we would like to thank you, Ms. Willow, for coming today and sharing your expertise with us. It was a wonderful talk, and so thank you so much for coming and sharing with us today. We appreciate you so much. I love your passion. I love your heart. I love what you're doing with ONPASSIVE and in the industry and helping other people. So thank you so much.
Bless you. I love you.
All right.
And all of you.
I love you too. And I love everybody. So now let's move on to something else.
Hey, Milo, can I interrupt you for a second? Just
yes, go
out of
ahead.
curiosity here. I got a big kick out of him when he asked that, because I remember that whole thing, but I misspoke with him. The original Constitution, I think, and I'd have to look this up, but if memory serves, it was actually a parchment. It was more the original one. Now later on, it may have been on hemp. I don't know, but I think the original one was on animal hides. It was some sort of an animal, a hide or something. It was really weird. I'll have to look it up and get back with you, but I don't know. I may have said earlier, yes, it was written on, but the original one, I don't think. Well, I'll look it up and I'll get back with you. How's that?
Perfect. Thank you, Jeffrey. Is that okay, Dave? Did you get that message?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. All right, let's move to the next thing that I wanted to talk about. Jeffrey did a video, and I want to take it to Jeffrey, and I want him to take about 10 minutes or so and give us some bullet points on it, Jeffrey. And then I think if Lynn, you got that link, right? You can post it in the back office of his video. It's a great video. It talks about water. Jeffrey, come on down and talk to us, brother.
Man, I feel like a celebrity today. Thank you. But to start this off, I've got to bring it back to Willow, because Willow started talking about the Obless, and I'm telling you guys, if all you have to do is think about what your passion is, and you can plant that in Obless to some extent. Now, with me in this particular video, it's about water and energy. If you need to talk to Willow, her heart is in women, specifically women in crisis. For others, it may be homelessness or the hungry or the children or any unlimited cause you can think of that we can plug into Obless and have a crowdfunding situation to bring in funding for that specific. And it is such I'm telling Willow, I'm with you. I love that man. He has got a marketing and distribution platform that is second to none on the planet. Absolutely second to none. He has got a reach. And you might think Amazon is all that. Let me tell you something. We are going to dwarf them with who we are and what we are and our reachability and the products and the connections that we have. Plain and simple. You guys, like they say in the movie, you ain't seen nothing yet. Okay. But getting back to that video is one I started a long time ago thinking about when we did that Obless with the Obless group with Chris, and we introduced We Energy, because I know Mr. Mufara has been talking about, and I am dying for the day that he gives us more meat about the renewable energy products he's tied into. And he's given us a couple of clues, saying you're going to be out in the desert and turn your TV on and it's going to work. And that should tell you something. And I got all excited because I knew about the magnetics. I knew about fuelless energy. I knew about all these things and the new turbines coming up and all the hydrogen and just really, 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 really neat stuff. Well, the company We Energy that we're talking about in this video, they've been doing this for 20 years, and they've got this technology that is now tried and proven. It's been in the field. It is out there. It's working now. And a lot of it is cutting edge that you can't, can you imagine pulling 100 liters of glacial pure water right out of thin air, right? When you take a one cubic yard, right? A yard tall, yard thick, and a yard long motor, plop it down in the middle of nowhere with one solar panel, and it will start a stream of water coming out of the atmosphere that is about almost a half gallon a minute. I mean, 70,000 liters a month this thing will put out. And that's all it's got is a solar panel, and all it does is create good, clean water, and it takes no external, conventional power source. So you could plop it down in the middle of Kenya, you could plop it down in the middle of Flint, Michigan, you could plop it down in Florida, anywhere you want to, and you could do multiples. It's available now. Can you imagine crowdfunding that? Or how about, could you imagine a magnetron that is 300-400 pound, again, a small generator that will provide industrial utility scale electrical that is 93 to 95% efficient, and it requires zero fossil fuels, no external power. It literally, you plop it down wherever you want to put it, and you can literally build a community around it, build homes around it, and it will power them, and it just goes and goes and goes and goes, because it's got a multiplying system in it, a multiplier, energy multiplier in it, that it creates so much more power than it even uses. So it feeds itself and creates that much power, a huge power. Or even my favorite. Now, in the video, I spend the first 10 minutes talking about the world water crisis. And I give copious websites and news, and I mean, all the links are there. I mean, TV channels, people are covering this, where you've got dried riverbeds, you've got reservoirs that are being emptied, you've got lakes that are losing 26 feet per year. You have, like with the Hoover, where you got water down below the outtake valves, and so it can't even, it's crazy what's going on. And I'm just talking about things in the US. The heck, I haven't even mentioned yet, but it's covered in the video, the EU and the UK. And I mean, this is a global water crisis, and we have what it takes to fix it right now. And they have got, this is the one that kills me. They have got what they call the AWE. It's an atmospheric water extractor. And it kind of looks a bit like a turbine. It is not a turbine. You can put one on a half acre, and this thing will literally produce utility scale electrical, and it will produce, as a byproduct, millions of pure water, millions of gallons per year. You can literally take those things and put a few of them next to you can fill these reservoirs back up. You can build communities around this. And this is just some of it. It's not even all of it. But they've also got a straw that you can literally go and you can suck anything through it, give you it's good for about 1,000 liters, but it gives you absolutely pure water. No matter what you're sucking through it, one end is nasty and the other comes out, and it's unduplicatable. It's got technology the world's never seen in it. They actually, there's proof in laboratories where they sent a case over to China and said, can you reverse engineer this? They couldn't do it. You've never seen the technology. They have also got the world's only desalinization straw. Now, I don't know if you guys are ever out at the beach and you water everywhere and nary a drop to drink. Remember that? Well, you can't drink salt water, but with this desalinization straw, you can walk right in there, or if your boat capsizes and you're thirsty, just suck up your water. I mean, it's all good. So, I mean, it's just powerful. But even more powerful than that video and the stuff is the power that Mr. Mufar, I love what you said and your compassion, Willow, the power that Mr. Mufar has put in our hands with this platform. And oh, bless, it's only one platform that I'm talking about. And when you tie in the other 50 or 60 platforms they're going to have, right? They may have half of that now. I mean, who knows what they've got? The man's been working for 4 years, and he's done more in 4 years than most companies will ever do in a lifetime. But when you start marrying all of these together and the power, the empowerment that you have with these, as far as getting something to somebody or educating them, absolutely phenomenal. You are in the best shapes of your lives right now. We are at a pivotal point in history with ONPASSIVE and with the consciousness and economics of humanity, and you're a part of it. And if you're not excited about that, somebody needs to give you put you on life support or something, because I'm telling you, it is absolutely fantastic. And I guess I'll stop there. If you have questions, I'd be glad to answer them, but I could talk about this for a long time.
All right. Thank you, Jeffrey. It is, you know, that is what I had said earlier is now we have a vehicle. We never had that vehicle before, oh, bless, and all the different things that we'll be able to do, you know, and change the world. You know, when you talk about electricity, you talk about water, and you putting them in a place, and we can build homes around it. And now we've got internet there, and you have a phone, that's your bank. You know, just thinking, I always go back to this, but 59.2% of the world has internet right now. What's going to happen when that goes up to 100% or even 98%? You have all these people that have not had it before because they couldn't have it. You know, there was not internet there. There wasn't good, clean water there. There wasn't electricity there. Now we can build homes out of 3D technology. We can put water like you talking in there. We can do electricity, you know, and you have a bank and everything else. All of a sudden, now, not only that, you can also train people because you have academy. They can go there, they can learn. We're talking about children. We can take children and they'll learn. It's going to change companies. It will change the world. I'm a firm believer in that. And thank you, Jeffrey.
You know what? It's already started. If I can add something else that I just learned the other day as a direct result of Mr. Mufara's Obless, We World Energy had a, I'm going to call it an initiative. One of their missions was to donate 1 billion liters of water to the world, right? While they're taking care of the world water crisis. Bob was talking to me a couple of days ago, and he said, do you realize with Obless that we can up that ante? Because he was reading, there was some technician guy, really a tech head, that came out and said his new definition of a billionaire, and it made me think about ONPASSIVE AI, you know, a billionaire, because there will be billionaires created from what Mr. Mufara has done. No question in my mind, you know. But he says a billionaire, a heart billionaire is a billionaire, a person that can touch 1 billion people. Founders are going to be able to do that. You know, we're going to have that. And We Energy said, you know what? As a result of Mr. Mufara's platform with Obless and other stuff, we now can say, instead of 1 billion liters, because we will affect 1 billion people through this platform, we're going to have a trillion liter challenge that we're going to get. So, I mean, other companies, he's already changing the mindsets of other companies and other people, and we haven't even launched yet. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Absolutely. You know, and I think we'll see more of it. You know, people change when things get rolling. We're going to have all kinds of new things come up because remember, it is the correction to the corruption. All right. I see Willow's hand up. Willow, come on down. You have 3 minutes.
I was just 15 years ago, my husband and I bought the first air to water machine, and we still got it in our kitchen to stay. We produce every drop of drinking water we have from the air. We pay electricity and we pay for the filters. But it's been out there, that type of, oh, I'm so excited about you writing about it. Jeff, you got to include me in your little program.
You know what, Willow?
I know everything about air to water machines. Let me tell you, my husband built one out in our backyard. So one of the things that we don't know, and we got friends in Michigan, Flint, Michigan, and you know the water crises they had there?
Yeah, I addressed that in the video.
There was a Marine, and I talked to him. I think his first name is Joe. He built an air-to-water machine that was big enough to give the whole community that he lived around water every day to supplant that water that they were drinking and poisoning their people with. So it's here, Jeffrey. It's here already. Water reclamation also is here. And that's a whole science in itself, catching water from the air. But
yeah.
I am so excited to hear you step out and talk about this, because Nashville Milo's family is into water, and his brother was a water manager his entire life. He knows all about it. Curtis doesn't get up and blow his own horn enough, but Curtis Davis is very, very knowledgeable about water reclamation also. So there's a whole group of us here on ONPASSIVE that are really excited about the fact I want to have an air-to-water machine big enough to irrigate all my plants. And that's my dream, like instead of taking the Colorado River and draining it dry, replenishing the water in it, like you said, Jeffrey, we could fill those rivers back up. And ONPASSIVE,
you absolutely could. You absolutely could. And I'll give you
can make it happen.
Let me give you a little piece of information about the technology that you're referring to. With the current ones out on the market that you see where people are bringing this in, they're using dehumidification technology that
Yes.
only works at 35% relative humidity or higher.
Yes.
The technology used by this company that I'm talking to, they use a cold core at below 45 degrees Celsius, and they can create water out of 5% or higher. Now, to understand what that means, the Sahara Desert is at 25% relative humidity.
Right.
So you can literally plop this down anywhere, and it will not only make more water.
I did read about that, and I don't know enough about it to talk about it, but by God, isn't that miraculous?
Yeah, and you think about that that air or the atmospheric water extractor. I mean, millions of gallons a year and utility scale, and it fits on a half acre. And they've got other tech, but you're right. I mean, this is phenomenal. We're in an exciting age right here, and you're right. ONPASSIVE is the answer to so much of it, and I just can't say enough about Ash and what he's done. It's just, you don't know how big this is. We don't know how big. I can't explain how big this is ONPASSIVE, and this that I'm talking about in this video is just one little piece of it.
Yep.
So, wow.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
All righty. Yeah, it's a great thing. I know there's quite a few that are real into water. Kurt's one. Leon Holiday is another one. He's big into water. Also, I believe Kevin Rutledge is. So there's quite a few people that are thinking about the water. And I know there's just a lot of people out there that think about that, and we do need clean water. I laugh sometimes because everything to Kurt is about water and sewer, I mean, it don't matter what you're talking about, man. It's water and sewer is number one, and I'm like, Kurt, man, there's other things in the world, but he doesn't think so. And he does a good job with it. And he has been in it his whole life. He was the head of Shreveport City for, I don't know how many years. And then he was the head of Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, I believe, or something. He was the president of the Water Association. So he has all kinds of degrees. But I mean, I go, well, hey, okay, I'm glad you're there, Curtis, and just keep giving me water, but this is great technology that, is coming about. And I know, when the lakes start getting low, man, it's not good. It's not good on all levels. I mean, Jeff, I noticed in your video, you said about the waters are run dry where there used to be yacht harbors,
Oh yeah, yeah. It's crazy. You look down at the dry riverbed and you can see where the slips are. I mean, the whole night. And you speak about water. There's stuff you can read about it. They've got technology now. They're taking sanitation. They're taking your sewage and they're treating it and throwing it back into your house as potable water. I'm not sure how to feel about that, but
right. Exactly. Exactly. I hear you, man. And this is a new technology. And I do think that there's a lot of things out there that we're going to see come up that has been around forever, but we've never been able to enjoy it for whatever reason. You know, I still believe that ONPASSIVE is the correction to the corruption.
And I am dying for the day that Ash comes out and shows us the magic, because I know he's got it. He's chomping at the bit. I can't wait.
You know, he has so many things. And when he talks about, you don't even know 10%, you know, you don't know 10%. I mean, this is like an iceberg, and we don't even know the whole top, but the bottom is so much bigger that's there, you know. And when he comes out with some of this technology and stuff that he's got, it's going to be amazing. I mean, can you imagine? Just think what we talked about today. We talked about a house that could be built with 3D printing, that no moisture, you know, no fire it can get to it. You know, not only that, it can keep your house at 67 degrees all the time. Now, all of a sudden, Jeff comes up with this thing that you can set a thing out there that will supply you water, you know. So now we got that covered. What about electricity? We got that covered. Now, you know, I'm sure there's something out there for sewage too. There's probably something that, you know, that will take care of that. When you can get all of that in one place, and now we even talk about, you know, the internet. Okay, now they got internet. Now they got a bank, because that bank is on their phone. And Willow, you went to it also. You know, the bank, you know, the people can't get rid of their money because they buy, you know, they sell hemp or whatever, and someone doesn't want that because of whatever reason they have, you know, and so they put it and they make it where you can't even use money. Come on, let's be real about this, you know. There's so many things that I think are going to change, you know, and I'm waiting for the day too, Jeffrey, when Ash steps up and he says, hey, this is what we got. And hey, maybe we'll have our own coin, you know, or whatever, that we don't need anyone else. And when that happens, all of a sudden the tables turn. You know what? Because those guys that have been saying, hey, we can't do this and we can't do that, and now we can do it, and they're left holding the bag. They're not able to control us, more or less. I believe that that's what it's coming to, and I believe that that ONPASSIVE is the correction to the corruption. All right, do we have any other hands? Let's see. I don't see any other hands. Come on, y'all. Someone else has got to be able to talk a little. No? Well, if not, I tell you what, we're gonna, oh, there's Amy Radecki. Come on down, Amy, and talk to us.
Hello, everyone. This is quite mind-blowing to me. Willow, I had never heard of that device that you and your husband have in your kitchen. I am blown away. My husband was also listening, and I looked at him and he looked at me, and we're like, never heard of such a thing. I must be under a rock over here in Michigan. But I'm excited because with knowing what ONPASSIVE is going to bring to the world, it's a game changer without a doubt. I just wanted to say a little bit. So thanks, everybody. Love you guys.
Thank you, Amy. We love you too. Thank you for coming on and speaking. It was awesome. All right. Anybody else? I see Kurt Davis is here. Curtis, you want to say something about water? Now's your chance. You're muted, Curtis. That's not a good place for you to be.
I know. Never know what you'll say.
There we go.
Hey, I was kind of laughing to myself and chuckling to myself when Jeffrey was talking, and he said, you know, I don't know how to feel about taking wastewater and putting it into your water. You'd be surprised how many places already are doing that. When you get your wastewater, when your wastewater is treated, it's actually cleaner and pure than any water you'll ever get out of any lake, any stream, any well, anything there is around, because you actually treat it to such a high caliber that I go to a lot of these conferences and that, and we have what's called a wastewater beauty contest. And they bring their wastewater in and you judge it and you look at it and everything. And we have one operator in New Orleans that is so proud of what his plant puts out that he'll actually take a sip of his wastewater. When you think about everything, if you get water from a lake or you get water from a stream, what is in that lake, that water, that stream? Anyone that's out on the lake that's fishing or anything else like that, that has to go to the bathroom. They don't go to the shore every time they go to the bathroom. What does the fish do? You think the fish hold all their stuff they put out? Do they hold it in and say, oh, let me jump up on the bank and get it? No, it's not like that. You have to put the money in. So if you take that same wastewater that you are treating, and it is down now where it is purer than any water that you'll ever get anyplace. So you've got that water already done. Why wouldn't you take and put that right back in your system, not put it in another lake? Because you put it in a lake, it's going to get contaminated. You put it in a river, it's going to be contaminated. You take and put it right back into the headworks of your water system. It will cut the cost of treating water down and everything else. And it's amazing. And I heard Milo saying, yeah, he thinks it's all about water and sewer. Well, there's one thing you can't live without that you have to purchase, and that's water. It doesn't matter. And I tell all my operators, and I teach classes for the state. And I tell all of them, I say, hey, listen, everyone's life depends on you. You can't do anything without, he's rubbing his hands. I must be out of time.
Almost. You got 20 seconds.
You have something to do with everyone's life. And no matter what it is, no matter how young they are, how old they are, and my 20 seconds is up. So I wanted to jump on. I'm at a softball tournament, came out, went and got some lunch, and I'm done. Y'all have a good day. I'm going to continue listening.
Thank you, Kurt. I want to know about the corn. Does the corn go away?
We are going to start a company. If you've ever worked around anything around sewer, septic systems, or anything, I want to start a company that recycles corn because it looks the same thing after it's in the sewer line as it does coming out of the can.
All right. Thank you, Kurt. I think we're gonna stick to the straws, man. And some of the other stuff. Thank you though, Kurt. All right, guys. Let's see who else we got. Do we have anybody else coming up? Thank you, Kurt, for sharing your knowledge. All right. I don't see anyone else. So let me tell you about next week. What's going to happen next week? Next week, Jeffrey Morlock is up. Jeffrey, go ahead.
Well, you tell me if this is appropriate. I have a question for you because you and I were talking yesterday, and after we got off the phone, I got thinking, dang, you and I need to have a live chat and just feed off each other because and then I hear you this afternoon with Marty, and Marty's like, yeah, we need to do that. And I thought, oh yeah, I'm onto something here. But you said something yesterday that really got me thinking because you and I were talking about Obless, and you kind of put a fork in the road and said, yep, Obless is this way, but there's another philosophy. And I wanted to know, could we get you to expound on that a little bit here? And I'll explain what I'm talking about. Or you let me know if that's okay or if that's something you want to.
That will be fine. As many of you know, and I've said it a lot of times, with Obless, to me, with Obless, you're giving money. You're giving finances away. You're giving a guy a fish. But what happens if you take that same money and instead of giving the guy a fish, you buy him a fishing pole and you show him where to fish? Which is better? I mean, I think it's much better to go the other way. So in other words, if I'm going to give, let's say St. Jude Hospital, okay, let's just take that one. So say if I was going to give St. Jude Hospital $250, Is it good for me just to give them $250? To me, that doesn't make sense. Why not go into St. Jude and find out, hey, who needs some money here? Who needs a lifting up? And you go in and you lift up, say if it's 25, I don't know, I'm just guessing, so don't hold me to this. But say if it's $25, okay, now you can buy 10 spots for people and you put them underneath this spot that you got that's called, Jude Hospital, St. Jude Hospital. Now, what have you done? You have not given them $250. You have given them $250 that will be multiplied many times over every month. Does that make sense, Jeffrey?
Absolutely. I love it, because I put another little twist on that too, in that when you do that, you're taking your initial investment, but you're throwing it out into generations. And if you have, like you were saying, St. Jude or churches or somebody that, the whole thing is now you have got an income stream instead of a one-time donation. You have an income stream that you can watch and grow and you can manage, and every month you can shove that money at them. You don't even have to turn the account over to them. It can just automatically feed them. So yeah, life is good. That's a great idea.
Absolutely. But think of, what we just talked about. I took $250 and I divided it up with a position for the St. Jude's. Now I put people that need it underneath that, which every month, remember that pays out, and it pays out every month. So every month they could go in and get it. Now, what is wise for them to do? What I would like to tell St. Jude is, hey, look, here's the deal. I want to provide you with a lot of funding, okay? But can you take 50% of it and put it back in to that person, to someone that needs it? Remember, they have people coming through there all the time. And I remember as my wife had cancer. I remember there was a day when I drove to the bank or drove to the pharmacy, and they told me that the medicine was $800. I said, no. I said, I got insurance. And they said, no, you don't understand. That is the copay. And I'm like, are you kidding me? $800. So I have to make a choice. Do I make the house mortgage or do I buy medicine? Well, it's an easy choice. You buy the medicine because you need it. The house has got to stay. But now, does anyone need to be put into that position? No. If we got a chance to use whatever we got, our vehicle, which is ONPASSIVE, and we can change those people's life, how cool is that? Now you're taking, say the St. Jude thing, and they're giving out to, 10, 20 people a month. Now all of a sudden it grows. And now that half, they can do 40. And now that grows again and they can do 80. And now it grows again and do 160. You see how this thing grows. And I used to say, Jeffrey, on our show, a lot of times I would say, how many oranges can an orange create? And I'm not talking seedless oranges, but seeded oranges. How many can it create? And I don't remember, I heard it on a webinar. Some guy said it on a webinar. I think it was actually something that a motivational speaker, Mr. Brown, I think, Les Brown had said it. But when you think about that, and this is what ONPASSIVE is. This is the way I think of ONPASSIVE. You got an orange. Okay, how many seeds is in that orange? Maybe 20? Okay, does that mean that you're going to get 20 oranges out of that seed? No, absolutely not. It means you're going to get 20 trees. So you get 20 trees now producing oranges, right? And all of a sudden you keep planting these things and you got this big grove, orange grove. That's the way it is with ONPASSIVE. When you put someone under you, it creates another income source that just gets bigger and bigger. And it's not, remember, the key is it's not about us. It's not about us. Although I guarantee you, we are going to have more than we can use, okay? But do we want to just hold on to that money and hold it there? No. Let's take that money. Let's get it out. Willow talked today about battered women. What happens if someone goes into Willow and says, Willow, you know what? I want to help battered women. And you buy a spot for battered women. And then you take and you say, well, give me the names of 5 people. And you put those 5 under it. And give me the name of 5 more, or 10 more the next month and 20 more the next month. You see how this grows? It's like, this is crazy. And when you think about it, I'm telling you, we are on to something that is unbelievable. What do you think of that, Jeff?
I think spot on. And you gave me I had to wind you up a little bit, but you gave me exactly what I was looking for, because that's almost the same conversation you and I steered back and forth with yesterday. Thank you, Milo. I couldn't do it. And thank you.
Absolutely. Nothing gets me fired up more about ONPASSIVE than helping people. Helping people, to me, that's what it's about. Now, some people say it's not all about helping people, and I agree with that. I mean, it isn't all about it. You have to have the business aspect because you have to have the vehicle. If there's no sales, if you don't have no products to do, you don't have anything to do, you don't have no ONPASSIVE. You can't give it to someone else, okay? But if you have ONPASSIVE, which is products, and Jeff, we talked, and Willow, about new things that Ash is coming up with. I think he's going to blow our mind. Who knows what he's coming up with, because what he says right now, I remember talking to him and him telling me that, with this software, I was going to be able to, record these people from 5, 6 different places and it all come into one place. How cool is that? You have a webinar now that you could all, you could actually have a choir and you could sing, because it's not going to cancel it out. And I mean, anything you can think of, the truth is, anything you can think of, ONPASSIVE can do it. And, me and Marty was talking earlier, and I've been thinking, man, it would be kind of cool to have this webinar where, people come on and they say, well, what about this, and then take it to that next level on how you could bless people with it. So, all right. So next week, I will not be here. I have a wedding in Grand Rapids, Michigan. My great niece is getting married and I am playing the piano. So I'm going to be happy. But guess what? The cool thing is, man, we got so many people that are probably even better than me. Jeannie will be here next week. Jeannie, are you on? Is Jeannie here? I know she had something to do today, but I'm not sure if she's here yet. Okay, Jeannie is good. Jeannie Alavi? No. How do you say that, Lynn?
Jean Aleva.
Aleva. Jean Aleva is going to be on. She was a host one other time, did a great job. And Mario Soto is going to be on. He's a great speaker. He's a motivational speaker. You want to come hear him talk. I'll be putting out a poster on it. But that's going to be happening next week. Come support him, man, and listen to what he has to say, what Jeannie has to say, and of course, Miss Lynn's going to be there, and she'll make sure everything runs smooth. And but anyway, it's going to be great. Let's see what time. Yeah, we're about 2:40. So I think we can end it. It doesn't look like we've got any more hands that want to talk. So. We can end a little bit early today. So, all right. I appreciate every one of you coming. I see Mr. Ackham here, and some of the different ones, the leaders, man, thank you all for coming. It's been a wonderful show. Thank you, Willow. Willow, you were awesome. All right. And let me go to Willow. Willow, come on down and give me just 2 minutes, 2 minutes of just closing statements.
Oh boy, have I got 2 minutes. First of all, I want to tell Curtis, overprocessed water is dead. I know he's going to start throwing rocks at me now. I went through a whole field of study with Dr. Emoto in the life of water and how water affects us all and how it regains memory. And so when we drink dead water, we're not nourishing our bodies. So having said that, Curtis, I love you anyway. I want to say, first of all, I was so overjoyed to have Jeffrey here to back up some of the things that I've been working on most of my lifetime. And Dr. Benny, for asking a very important question about women that are caught in lives that they can't get out of. And so I am multifaceted. I'm a spiritual counselor. I'm a counselor. I have a degree in psychology. I have multiple degrees. In fact, I have 7 of them. So when I am counting degrees here, I hate labels and I hate even using a label on anybody. But we got to educate our kids because they can't get a job unless they have a degree. And so I think maybe of all the things that make me the most excited is O Connect and O Academy. And Ash says, oh, you know, you guys care all about just those and you don't look at all the, no, I look at ODIT and I look at all the other things that I want to play with. But those are the 2 things in my world that mean the most to me. Being able to communicate with multiple people at one time with mail is another big, big, biggie. Can you imagine that's going to be free? Oh, look out, Google. You're going to be sorry you made me mad.
Absolutely. Thank you, Willow. That's going to be some good stuff. All right.
Thank you all. Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Mr. Jeffrey Morlock for 2 minutes of closing conversation.
You know, I was going to sit back and keep my mouth shut, but I've got to redeem your brother. And Willow, I can't. I don't know how much of this I can disclose because it's not publicly available information. But anyway, let me tell you, there is a product that when you put it in water, it will rejuvenate that water with about 120 different life minerals that we need. You're right. Water gets depleted and it's not the life-giving miraculous substance that you will pull from the subterranean, okay? But there is a product, I can't give you the name or anything else, but I'm telling you, it is a miracle product that when you put that product in the water, and you drink that water regularly, you start feeling some almost miraculous things. So
I've read about that, and I just had to tease Curtis. Curtis is so sweet. He's on every day, and he teases us all the time. I just had to give something to get him thinking all night that he's dealing with dead water.
All right, Curtis, come down for 2 minutes. Talk to it.
Hey, you still have to have it to live. Water is an awesome product. And remember, the good Lord ain't making any more. We can get it out of the air. We can get it out of the rivers, the streams and everything. But there is no more being made. We can capture everything that we have and treat it the best that we can. And like Jeffrey said, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's out there that people have no knowledge of what's going on and would be shocked when they find out everything. But it can be brought back to life, Jeffrey. You are true.
All right.
Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Curtis. Thank you, Curtis. And let's see. I see Akeem's hand up. Go ahead, Akeem. Take 2 minutes. Akeem, you're muted.
Akram.
Akram. Akram, come on down, brother.
Thank you so much, Milo, and thank you so much to all the participants and great speakers. So I would not take the more times, and only 1 minute I will take. Actually, it's the last moment. Here is my big brother Jeffrey Morlock and my beautiful sisters Willow. They're doing great. So at this moment, I should not speak here because there I was so much loving them, and also I so much enjoyed their knowledgeable speech. So it is great, and it's really fantastic today's webinars. I really love you, all of you. Thank you so much, Milo. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Akram. We love you too. All right, and let's see, Mr. John Barilla, who's been watching the chat for us. I've seen a few things pop up. So John, go ahead on it.
Sure. I was just kind of looking at YouTube again. I've been back and forth all over the place. It was great today. Willow did great. Like I said, I've been kind of busy doing a lot of different things, so I couldn't really focus as much as I would like to. But things are going well, and thanks very much. That's all I'm going to say right now.
All right, thank you, Mr. John Barilla. Okay, let's we'll take Naga. Come on down, Naga. Talk to us. You, yeah. You're muted, brother. Ravika Sheena.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
How you doing, brother?
Mila, sir, I'm very happy to stay with our founders and superiors. Lynn Nakamoto, ma'am, I'm very happy to see you. Benny, ma'am, and all our founders. I'm very happy to see you. Akram, sir. Hi, sir. Sir, only I want to meet because long time ago I cannot able to stand with our webinars. I'm only watching lives in Facebook and YouTube's only. I have a chance to come today to attend with our family. I'm very happy in ONPASSIVE, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Naga. Thank you very much for coming down. All right, and I see we had another one walk in, Miss Jean E. Come on down and talk to us. She's going to be the host next week. Come say a couple minutes to us.
Well, can you hear me okay?
Hear you good.
Awesome. Okay, I am so sorry. I did mention earlier that I was going to be late. I had a family commitment and went a little longer than expected. And it's really hot here, so please excuse my attire. I cannot wait to go back and listen to the replay because I came in when you were talking about water, and I'm sure it was an energetic conversation about maybe the energy in water. I'm all about that. So I'm really excited to go back and listen, and I'm especially excited for next week as well. It's always a challenge doing the hosting, but I know I'm supported by amazing people around me, Lynn, John, everybody. I'm always blown away by these discussions because it's sort of weaving the fabric of ONPASSIVE, and it is just becoming more and more beautiful. I mean, we're all like, we have so much to offer. Willow, nobody has information like Willow. Her breadth of knowledge and her expertise, nobody can say what she says. Nobody can say what Jeffrey Morlock says. And those gifts, and everybody from all over the world in all languages. It's just mind-blowing to me how we're just, I think we're just kind of falling in love with each other. We're just, every webinar, it becomes more fun, more loving, more warm. It's like a hug every time I get together with all of you. So I'm so glad I caught the tail end of this. And thank you, Milo. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Willow. I cannot wait to hear what you had to say today. So everybody have a great day.
Thank you, Jeannie. And you got Mario Soto coming up next week. He's a great speaker. He's a good guy, man. I remember when we had him on the show, I was blown away. He was a motivational guy. You don't want to miss next week. I'm going to be gone, so that means it's a good time for you to come and watch the beautiful Jeannie and Lynn and John Barillo and Mario Soto. Man, it don't get no better than that. All right, and now we turn our attention to the one that, man, she's all over the place. And we couldn't do it without her. Miss Lynn Nakamoto, come on down.
Oh, hello, everybody. I think that we got a lot of food for thought. Great content. As always, Nashville Milo, you do a good job of getting those guests. So be sure to join us next week because we're going to have more good value for you. And that's what ONPASSIVE is all about, value. And we're offering it through Milo's webinar. Thank you for being here.
I love that. I love that. Value is what it's all about, you know, trying to help each other out, man. And like I said, there is no big I's and little U's. We're all in it together, man. Whether it's Jeffrey Morlock bringing it to us, Willow, Jeannie, Lynn, whoever bringing it to us, you know, we just pick up little nuggets along the way. But remember, we would not have a show without you. It takes every one of you to be here, and we love every one of you. So thanks for coming. But I see John Barillo has his hand up. John, did you have something to say?
Really quick, Milo. I didn't say, I'm so distracted. I didn't say, one more reminder to everybody, you know, we want everyone to subscribe to Milo's YouTube channel. I spent the day in our chat. I put it several times. I hope people didn't get upset with me, but also every YouTube channel. I posted in all of them, but I want to say to everybody one more time, let's all support Milo and go and make sure we subscribe to his YouTube channel. That's it. Bye.
Hey, thank you, John. Thank you, man. That was beautifully said. Hey, and also Lystra, I believe, was helping you today, correct?
Yes. Thank you, Lystra. Yes, boy, I'm out of it. Yes, thank you, Lystra.
John kind of has a team that they do it every week for us, man. And I'm telling you, I am the one with the easy job. I just sit up there and let everyone else do the thing. Also, Lynn, did you put that video of Jeffrey in? Did you put the link in? Everyone, check out Jeffrey's video. He's got a great video. It's got a lot of
Yeah, I'll do it now. Sorry, I didn't hear the cue. My fault.
Oh, well, I didn't give it. I'm glad I remembered, I think, because you reminded me. But thank you so much. If I don't do stuff like that in advance, I forget about it, and I apologize. But everybody, take a look. We're going to give you just a few minutes. You got it up there. Go into your thing, click on Jeffrey's video. It's all about water. It tells you know, how things are running dry and the yacht places, and you see all of the pictures. It's a beautiful video. If you haven't seen it, go there, take a look at it. Jeffrey Morlock, he brought it to us today. All right, are we good, Lynn?
I'm trying. I copied it. Give me 1 second. I have to open the chat again.
All right.
I think it should do the trick. Let me try.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming. Mr. David Schweitzer, I see him in the house. Loretta Hammonds and Tim Dillon's in the house. Of course, Amy Radecki's in there. It's up.
It's posted. Yeah. Everybody, look in the webinar chat.
All right. Awesome. Look in your webinar chat. Click on that link and go to Mr. Jeffrey Morlock's. And I don't know, Lynn, did you post my, or John,
YouTube
I think
channel, yeah.
Okay, so you can go in there, click the YouTube channel. For me, I would love to have you subscribe because I'm feeling awful lonely and I want all of you to subscribe to me. I want to have my friends there. All right, let me see. John Barilla, do you have something else to say?
No, I didn't. I must not have lowered my hand. I'm finished.
Okay, no problem. Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Remember, once again, there would be no Milo ONPASSIVE Milo show if you was not here. We have to have you here for someone to talk to. And not only that, you don't know what you mean to everybody else that's here. When we're here as a group, man, it's like a chord. And when you do that, all of a sudden you get stronger and you're going to learn, you know, to come out and say things. Raise your hand, man, because we love it when you do, because then I don't have to talk so much. Well, I kind of like talking, to tell you the truth. But anyway, I like to have other people talk. Hey, Richard, we got time for you. There's 2 minutes left or 6 minutes left, 2 for you.
I love all you beautiful men, women, and children of the world from the bottom of my heart. Well, you told me to raise my hand, so I raised my hand. What can I say?
Perfect.
Lynn's always saying, I know Richard's going to be the last one to raise his hand.
I am right too.
You were talking about water. You were talking about water. I remember as a kid, I had to go a quarter mile with a 45-gallon drum with a sleigh in the winter and a wagon in the summer to farmer and pump water. and into the drum. And you know what's funny is, here we are in a modern society, and way back in the 40s, we were drinking out of a drum and out of anything, out of a creek, and yet we never got sick. And you look at the water today, that's processed through cities and all that. Well, geez, no wonder that people are sick. There's nothing left in there. Absolutely nothing left in that water. It's neutral. So myself, I got caught in 1968 by chlorine, the gas that they used to kill soldiers in the First World War. So you can imagine me taking a shower. I almost need a mask because there's chlorine in that shower water. I have to actually keep these guys, puffers, beside the bathtub. That's how bad our water has become. They're putting poison into our waters now. Some cities are recycling sewer water for drinking water. Shame on them. Shame on all of them. You know? And going back to Willow, my daughter worked for a home like that, where the ladies that are abused go to. And right now she's working for one of the tribes as a social worker. So I know what you're talking about. And I'll tell you something. Any man that lifts a hand on a woman is lower than a snake. And I mean it, he's lower than a snake. No one should lift a hand against women. Shame on all those that do.
Absolutely. Thank you,
And
Rick.
kisses. Don't you dare let me get my kiss through and my hug.
All right.
Kisses and hugs, Sully.
All right. Thank you, Richard. Thank you so much. We'll have a lot of options. You can drink out of straws. You can do whatever you want to. We'll have a lot of options coming up. All right, but it's time to go. It is time to close this show down. Thank every one of you for coming. And here we go. Ba-ba-da-bum-bum. Oh, good night from Nashville.
Good night from New York City.
Good
night from Canada. Good night from USA.
Good night.
Good night from North Carolina. Hallsville, Texas.
Good
night from Georgia.
Oh, my microphone never worked.
Good night from Ontario.
Good night.
Good night from Georgia.
Good night from Maryland.
Good night from North Kakalaki.
Good